I'll take it.
There it is.
My notes are
You need notes?
I have a lot to say. It's fine.
Hey man, you're losing your name tag.
There you go.
You have a card, David? I've done not yet. I'm still new. Really, really new, but it's on the way. You'll see my client relations manager. But Jason Wigginton is the lead home inspector, business owner, operator. He's a Christian dude. Volunteers at the YMCA as often as possible. It's amazing. He's not as extroverted as me.
I'm just getting Steven's here because I'm going to need to refer to it anyway.
No, that's supposed to be on my.
We're good?
Just hang out with Julie.
There we go.
Good? Ready?
Yeah, are you going to sit or stand? There we
I
go.
was just going to start speaking.
Okay,
And
there you
then
go.
people are-
Perfect.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody watching on Facebook Live. My name is Jeremiah Delgado. I am the co-owner and co-founder of villagesnews.com and Ocala-News.com. We are here today to speak a little bit about social media marketing and email marketing and how you can take advantage of some of the free and low-cost tools that exist out there to promote your business successfully and efficiently. So I'm joined by three lovely ladies who are going to speak on various topics throughout the I guess afternoon, no, not yet.
Yeah, almost.
Almost. And so I'm going to kick it off by just talking a little bit about the importance of it and how you can take advantage of a couple of the tools out there to be very efficient with your marketing. So just starting off, I don't have a timer, so I'm just going to wing this. As I said, I'm Jeremiah Delgado. We own and operate Ocala-News.com. We are a news source in Ocala, so it's fairly simple. We have been doing this for about 7 years, and the one question we always ask ourselves is how much do we want to promote ourselves, right? The answer I think all of us have is all the time, right? I think we want to do as much as we possibly can. So even though ideally the answer to how much do I promote myself is as much as I can, realistically it's as much as I possibly can, but it's all based on time, right? None of us have time to promote ourselves as much as we'd like to. When you spend time on Facebook, you're taking time away from Twitter or Instagram. And so today I want to talk a little bit about how you can do all of that very efficiently, very quickly, and you can maximize your gains. So I think the first question, let's say any of you do social media, you post something, like I just said, you're posting that thing and you're not thinking about where else you should post that because you're so focused on just posting it here. It takes so much time and attention that you sometimes think, well, I don't want to spend all the time and attention on other places, so I'm just going to focus on Facebook and I'm going to let Instagram and other things go by the wayside. That's not the way you should approach things. You should want to be everywhere all the time. And I know that's very aggressive, but you should want to have emails. You should want to be on Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat, and every other social media that you can possibly capture because it's just free promotion all the time. Yeah, so if it's not time, it's message. Most people have a problem creating a message. They say, I don't know where to get content. And so that is something that is either readily available everywhere in your industry or something that you should focus on because you probably already have that content inside of you. I've spoken on this many times before. Anytime you answer a question for your business, that is content that you can use to generate to post on your Facebook and on your social media profiles and on your website. So just be thinking about those questions throughout this, things that you can easily make content from, and then how to promote that through those sources. I'll be talking about how to do that efficiently, okay? I'm going really fast. I'm going to slow down a little bit. All right, so how many of you have social media in this room? I'm guessing all of you, right? How many of you use it fairly frequently? Would you say you all use it daily, basically? As a business owner, if you're posting, weekly or monthly, you're not really engaging with your users the way that they are engaging with that platform, right? All of us on here that have social media are likely on there once a day or a few times a day. And so your goal as a business owner, I try not to give numbers, but this is one that I always give, is you gotta get to that one post a day, at least one post a day. You wanna get across all of your social media, one post a day. Some of you are doing one a week, some of you are doing one a month, but imagine those users that are coming on, let's say on a Tuesday, if you post on a Monday, by the time they get to your post, or by the time they log in, they're never gonna see your post. So the idea is to be in front of your audience all the time, constantly. And that's very cumbersome, right? It takes a lot of time to set up individual posts. So what I'm gonna talk about today is social media management. Social media management is not a person, it is It really refers to a field or a platform that allows you to manage all of your social media in one place, right? So instead of having 3 different profiles, I really have just one profile, and it's free or low cost, and I can have the same message or tailor it to the different profiles just from one place entirely. So for us, the reason this became important, as a business, we do 5 to 10 posts individually every day, right? We started way back in the day doing 5 posts, and we thought, okay, we don't want to fatigue our readers. A lot of you in here might think, well, as a Facebook user, if I see somebody post a bunch of things about their business, I'm just going to kind of be desensitized. I'm not going to want to engage with it. There is a balance. But I would say that to find that balance, you really have to experiment. So we started with 5 posts a day, and we saw that our users were engaged. We moved that up to like 6 or 7 to around 10, and we saw that we got more engagement. It didn't mean that we got more engagement per post. It means that you get more engagement overall. And that's really the goal on Facebook. So a lot of you might be discouraged. Man, I posted a Facebook post or I posted a Twitter post. It got no retweets. It got no likes. Maybe it only got a few engagements. Maybe I have 500 followers and it only got 3 likes. Never, ever, ever use those numbers to evaluate yourself. You should just be worried about consistently putting it out there. Your goal is basically just to funnel the content out there, and when it does catch fire, to promote that content. And so it's not, don't be discouraged by not getting results. We acted like we had 10,000 users when we had 10 users, and now we have those tens of thousands of users. And so those things that we put in place at the beginning are really helping us capture this audience in a much more effective way. So after we got up to 10 posts a day, we started to see that our number. So just an example, let's say we had 5 posts a day, and each of those posts was engaged with 1,000 people. When we moved up to 10, each was 700, but our overall number went from 5,000 to 7,000. So then we thought, well, why don't we just keep on adding posts and see where this number can go? So we went from 10 to 15 to 20, and now we're roughly at around 25 posts a day just on Facebook, just on Villages News. So as you can imagine, when you're doing this as a business owner, you have a million other responsibilities to do, and so spending 2 hours a day on Facebook to post 25 times is very cumbersome. Now add Twitter and add Instagram and then add another website. So now you have 6 social media properties with about 100 posts a day that we have to push out every single day. It becomes virtually impossible. It becomes a full-time job. And if you let it, you could hire we did hire somebody to do that, to take it on full-time, before we knew about social media management. Social media management allowed me to take all of that full-time job, and turn that back into a 1 or 2 hour proposition every week, or every day, but likely every week. We have someone that works on it now. He spends maybe 5 hours setting up all of our social media posts, hundreds of social media posts every week. And it's because of Hootsuite and Buffer and Later, which are the social media managers that we use. There are dozens of managers out there. It's not, like I said, it's not a person. It's a platform that allows you to go in, see what you want to post, when you want to post it. Twitter and Instagram actually don't allow you to schedule things out, and so these social media managers force them to schedule. So you don't have to, in real time, post things on Twitter. That's a lot of as business owners, we make that decision in our head. Well, I don't have the time to post on Twitter, so I'm just going to do Facebook, and I'm going to forget all these other ones. These social media managers say, no, you shouldn't relegate all these others to the back. You should make them the forefront. You can do it all at once. You can slightly tailor your message, because Facebook doesn't have a character restriction, but Twitter does, right? Facebook doesn't really use hashtags, but Twitter and Instagram does. So you can tailor your message in this platform. It's little to no cost, and you can push it out and schedule it in a far more efficient way than if you were to individually attack each one of these. And so I'd recommend for anybody watching or anybody here, just try them. If you're already managing social media profiles, it will only help you. And if you want to add more to that, it will make your life and your job a lot better. Okay, so now that I've spoken about that, I'm actually going to switch gears and talk a little bit about email. And if you have questions about social media management, I know I'm not touching on all of the ins and outs of it. We have so much information because we've gone through the headaches. So Ocala-News, and I'm sure anyone here can attest to, we can answer those questions. This is why we make these relationships. So when you are going through this, we can help you with your growing pains. We're all partners in this. But I want to speak a little bit about email for a couple of minutes. Email is significantly more important, I think, now than it ever was before. It is a way that you can engage with somebody that wants to engage with you. So social media is really very passive. We all just like stuff. You follow something, it comes up on your wall. Okay, maybe you engage with it, maybe you don't, maybe it's not the right time. But email, you have to actively want to subscribe to me. You give me your email, and then I can see when you click on things. I can see when you open my email. So the data that I get back from that is just so powerful that I want to focus more time and attention into that, because those users are very loyal. Our email users open our emails at a 50 to 75% open rate, whereas our Facebook users, maybe 10% of our Facebook users will engage with a post. on any given time. So it's just a much more engaged audience, so I can tailor my message and be very specific to who I'm targeting, right? We used to do an email once a week, and we thought that was enough. We started doing emails once a day. We saw our numbers go way up, and now we'll do an email sometimes twice a day or 3 times a day. It's so much time and effort to create an email for MailChimp or Constant Contact, but they have tools in both of those and other providers that allow you to automate a lot of that process. RSS automations, templates that you can create and reuse over time. So there are lots of, my point in all of this is don't make excuses for yourself. There are free options out there. There are options that are very low cost. They will help you expand your business and promote your business in ways that you want to do but you're not able to do now because of the time commitment. And there's people in this room and outside that will absolutely help you and guide you so you're not wasting time and you're not wasting money. We want you to grow your social media profiles because it helps all of us. You know, there's 4 people here that are going to stream this today, and we're going to get thousands of views because collectively we work together. That's the whole point of all of this is use us, and we'll use you, and we'll all grow social media together. So with that, I'm going to pass it on. Who wants to go next? Olana will be next. Olana Osborn.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Olana Osborn on Facebook. On the CEP, you probably recognize me from Little Buzz. I'm the Director of Communications here, and I'm going to be talking to you today about 2 main things. One is curating your content based on the social media platform that you are posting to, and how to grow your brand through transparency. So you see this handy dandy little graph here. You can see it on Facebook Live. I have a tier system, and my background is in news reporting, social media management for news stations, and then social media management as like a side hustle as well. So as Jeremiah said, there are posts that you can schedule for consistency. Then there are posts that you might need to post because they're more time sensitive, something that's happening right now. So of course, using a platform to go ahead and get those scheduled out for you is always good. I want to focus on starting with the tiers of social media curation. So Twitter, it's not that this is any one is worse than the other, it's how much curation you have to put in for the platform. So Twitter, I put this at the bottom because it is for news, it is for humor, it is for grabbing attention quickly because there are so many tweets that are constantly just going, they blow up on Twitter and then they might head to other social media platforms. Twitter is where it happens first. So sometimes it's just a stream of thought that if you are a business and I'll give you an example, Moon Pies, of all things, in East Tennessee, I used to live there, they have blown up on Twitter because they just post random stuff about their day and really funny jokes, and people love it because it's different. So Twitter is not the place that you always have to put so much thought and a ton of effort into your post. You can just kind of throw stuff out there, be as consistent as you can because Twitter is the one that's moving the fastest. Move up to Facebook. This is where there can be a good mix of, you know, some of your just day-to-day little posts, and then some of the things that you put a lot of effort into. Highly curated videos, which are super powerful right now versus just stagnant posts. Always try and throw some videos up. And on Facebook, like Facebook Live is a good way you can do it, or just some videos about something that you're promoting, something you're working on. It doesn't have to be super professional looking, you know. But then again, Facebook is also a place that Facebook has its own watch section. You can put 30-minute shows on Facebook for people to watch. My fiance spends a lot of time on here, so I'm very familiar with it. And then Instagram is where people look at your feed. They want to see if their ratio, their follow ratio, so you always want to have more people follow you than you follow back for the clout. And so is it really worth the follow if your content isn't going to be pretty or curated or put together how people are interested in viewing it? Instagram is where you want to put your best pictures, your best videos. And then now that they have stories and lives, that's also a good place to stay active. Let people know that you're, you know, still there doing the day-to-day stuff, but it's where you want to have your highest tier of product go out. Now, if you were a realtor, I do some social media management for a real estate company. And you wanted to talk about a house that you just rented out or you just sold. What would get more engagements is not a stock photo that you pulled off of Creative Commons or Google and saying, we just sold this house, but maybe a selfie with the owner. So what I'm wanting to drive home to you today is that you can grow your brand recognition by showing the product and the production. So I mean that because you want to put out your big final product, your nicest stuff. This is where we're going to be focusing a little more on Facebook. So for the Weekly Buzz, I spend a lot of time producing a weekly video series that highlights business and development in the Ocala Metro. When I first started working here, the CEP would reach between maybe 1,000 and 3,000 people a month on their Facebook page. Last month we reached 120,000 people, and that is because we have had what I call the secret sauce to Facebook page success is by having multiple people contributing to that page. So we might have Andrea post something about YPO. Meanwhile, I'm working on the really curated Weekly Buzz and the really nice videos. And then we have Joe posting a picture of a ribbon cutting so that you are always going through the day. Now, sometimes that's not possible if you don't have a team of 20 people, but even if you just have 2 people in your office, or you schedule your important content through Hootsuite or one of those platforms, and then you are posting throughout the day. Just making sure that you have a good mix of content. Now, when I'm talking about growing your brand recognition through transparency, is people are so inundated with social media. You can scroll and scroll and scroll, and the posts that all look the same are going to get less and less and less interaction. So, things that I recommend to start switching up your posts and being more transparent is by showing the production of what you're doing. So, for a property home inspection, of course you can go and put on Facebook, some really nice branded production. But you can also post a video and say, hey, here's what we look for when we are inspecting a home. I have no idea anything about home inspection. I bought a house and I know it's a real, important part of the process. But you can say, this is what we look for, this is what I do. And showing the people behind the page will get you more of a connection with your viewers, because there's so many pages that we don't know who runs them, we don't know what they do, we don't know how they learned it. You can talk about your background. In real estate, you can, talk about things in your office that are unique. Maybe you have your employees, one of the companies that I manage for, have started to house stray cats on their porch. So we made a little video about all their stray cats that they have and feeding them and naming them and all this cute little stuff. It was the best performing post on the page that we've had in months because it's different and it's funny. And so sometimes you need to take a break from talking about real estate and you need to talk about something that makes you more human via the internet. It gets you that connection, and now people will remember, oh, this real estate company, I noticed them, so I'm gonna think maybe more about them when I'm ready to rent a house or buy a house. Or if you're doing it for financial services or being a CPA, anything that can show some behind the scenes, even if to you it's a mundane part of your day, you can say, this is how we start our day, this is a little tradition we have in the office. People love that. It will be performing better, and it will be more of a way to be able to check back and see the people that like and comment, and you can start to gauge more of your posts based on what gets the most interaction. And it's a really good way that we have implemented at the CEP to multiply our engagement by 800%. So it has been what I have used in, for a news Facebook page, something that has to be very serious. You can still, there's nothing funny about managing somebody's taxes. However, you can take a little bit of a break. You can take a little bit of a break and try and humanize what you do in order to connect more with your Facebook audience, and therefore your Facebook audience will grow and grow and grow. So I guess we can save some questions for the end, Andrea.
Perfect.
All right, guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. So my name is Sonda Eunus. I'm with Leading Marketing Solutions, and I wanted to go after Olana because I'm gonna catch right where she stopped and kind of continue on. So it's completely true that yes, you want to have a business page on Facebook or whatever social media platform you choose. But I would like to make a point that it's also very important to have a personal page where you are also engaging with people and just kind of forming those personal connections with them and showing your authentic self and just being completely genuine. And when I first started my business, I had my personal Facebook page, which I had had since high school probably, and then I started a new personal Facebook page to just manage all of our pages for the business. Then what I started finding is that people were finding my second personal profile because they both have the same picture and the same name, and so people just started adding me on both. And I was like, well, okay, whatever, I'll just add everyone, And then what I found is that I have a lot more engagement on my personal pages than on my business page, right? So now I'm actually gonna cross-post everything. When I go live on my Facebook personal page because I get more engagement that way, right? So another thing is you just have to be yourself. When you're first starting out in business or even as you go, you kind of are always told, okay, you have to be professional, you have to be very strict and very serious, but that's not always the case because people don't want to see that, you in a box, you trying to portray something that maybe you're not really in real life. But when you start really being yourself and you start, I'm not saying talk about politics or religion, those we want to stay away from. Yeah, but you can share jokes, you can share funny memes, you can say damn if you want to say damn, it doesn't have to be completely, black and white or completely gray, it can be you can be very personal. And also I would like to say that you should bring your connections from the real world outside onto social media. So we all go to networking events. I know everyone here goes to networking events, and we meet people and we exchange business cards, and then maybe we'll follow up with them, maybe we'll grab coffee, but also add them on social media. Everyone's on social media. And then that way, when you're posting on your social media, you're gonna get more engagement because those people actually know you, as opposed to people that are just adding you because maybe they follow your business or just randomly adding people, right? So it's very important to bring the network that you have outside onto your social media pages. Now, there are a lot of different platforms, like Jeremiah said, and yes, we should try to be on as many of them as possible, especially with tools such as social media management tools. I actually use Content Studio. It's a very good platform. It's contentstudio.io. And that one actually has a whole lot of content that you can share. What I've done is I get interns through CF, and I had an intern that was doing my social media for me, and then she was doing such a great job that I actually hired her, and now it takes her maybe 5 hours a week to schedule out, just like you said, to schedule out the posts for the whole week, and also on the different platforms that we're on. So we're on Facebook, we're on, Twitter, Instagram. Now, we still get the most engagement on Facebook, and Facebook is still the biggest platform there is, right? Like, for example, right now, we're all streaming live on Facebook, right? So that just kind of shows you guys that if you don't have the time or the resources, even with social media management tools, focus on Facebook. Now, if you're a B2B business, if you serve businesses, then you should be on LinkedIn. Absolutely be on LinkedIn. You can go live on LinkedIn. You can connect with people. You can grow your network. You can share posts. And what I love about LinkedIn is that you can also direct message people, right? So now we're past the age where people are cold calling or walking into offices and trying to get past that gatekeeper. You don't really have to do that because if you're trying to get in front of a business owner, you can just look them up by name and you can find them right there on LinkedIn, and then you can message them, right? And if you have a good message that intrigues them, then they may answer back, right? So the process is already a lot shorter than calling, leaving voicemails with the receptionist, waiting to hear back, not hearing back. So it just gives us an opportunity that we really didn't have before. And I get a lot of sales from LinkedIn, from just direct messaging, and that's what I've shown my team how to do. And there are also a lot of automation tools that you can use for LinkedIn. Like, for example, you guys may not be familiar with a tool called Duck Soup. Sounds funny, yes? And it's DUXSOUP, right? There's a free version. There's also the professional version, which is $15 per month. Completely worth it. What it does is you can look up who it is that you're looking for. So let's say business owners in Ocala. And then you start this thing, and it's a robot. It's a Google extension, a Google Chrome extension. It's a robot that starts looking at all of the profiles that you just pulled up. So now what happens is that when you look at their profile, they're gonna look back at your profile because it's gonna show up. It's gonna say, who's viewed your profile? Sonda. And then they're gonna look at my profile, right? So then if I want, I can go and add them. Now the professional version of DuckSoup, actually you can program to send connection requests. And that's how I've grown my network. You can script a little message, you can have them send connection requests, you can even have them endorse skills for you. So now they think you're amazing, but it's really not you, it's a little duck that's working, right? So that's just some of the ways that you can automate on LinkedIn. And then also, when you are sending direct messages on LinkedIn, it's very important to be brief, right? I don't know how many of you guys are on LinkedIn, but I get these long 4 or 5 paragraph messages, and I don't even read them, right? I just scroll past them. I do not look at those. So don't send me those, I won't look at them. But, you know, when we're reaching out to businesses, we're gonna start, first of all, with a question, right? You always want to engage people with a question, because that way, even if they're not answering you, you're still sparking that thought in their heads, right? So for example, my business, we do a lot of shows, we do a lot of networking events and vendor expos. And is it not working?
No, no.
Okay.
Just volume.
So one way that we approach businesses that want to be vendors or sponsors at our events is through LinkedIn, right? And the message that we have scripted is just completely short. It starts with, do you guys promote your business at local events, right? So now, even if they don't answer me, already they're thinking, well, even if we're not, other businesses are doing this, or this girl wouldn't be in business, right? So you're already sparking that conversation in their head, and they're gonna be paying more attention to the services that you're offering, or even your business or you, right? So you always wanna have maybe 3 lines that you're sending in your messages, right? So what I'll usually do, my message, and I'm probably gonna butcher this, but I have it written down, is, you know, do you guys ever use events to promote your business? We have had clients, you know, have incredible experiences at our events, be able to grow their exposure that way, and totally butchering it. And then you always want to end with a request, right? So it'll be something like, would you be interested in getting more information, right? And then you have a nice brochure that you send to them if they say yes, if they give you their email address, right? It could also be you inviting them to an event. If you have a webinar that you're doing, would you be interested in joining us for this free webinar, right? So you always want to have a very small ask, and you want to show them that for that small ask, you're going to give them value, right? So if you're asking them to speak with you, you're not going to say, hey, you know, let's have lunch. You're going to say, do you have 5 minutes for a quick call where I can tell you more about what we do, right? Because then for them, 5 minutes is nothing. And especially if you're saying something like, you know, we have worked with businesses in your industry before and they've had some great successes, then they would be more, you know, willing to give you those 5 minutes to hear how they did it or what happened, you know? So that's LinkedIn marketing. I love LinkedIn. And then what else is there? So emails, let's touch on emails. Jeremiah touched on it, and I also use email marketing as well. So far, we only send it out weekly because I don't really want to bombard people, and we don't really have news all the time. What we send out is our upcoming list of events. And of course, we usually do a lot more events than we're doing now, but you know, and we have people that sign up. And so it's very important to always have an email capture, right? So if it's on your website, you want to have a way to capture those emails. You want to have a pop-up, right? Just having a little thing that says sign up here is not going to do it. You want to have a pop-up because otherwise it's not going to catch their attention, right? And then all of the websites that you have, you want to have that kind of email capture. On your social media, you can add a little button, like on my Facebook, it says join my list. They just click on it, and that's another way that I'm capturing emails. Anytime that I host an event, I have an email sign-up sheet just right there, right? So that's another way. And then I enter all of those emails. I use Constant Contact. We send out emails weekly. We use the same template every time. We just change up the events coming up, of course. And then one cool thing that I've noticed is I started adding quotes at the top of my email, and people started opening them more. Just because in those few lines that show when you first see an email coming in, you're gonna see that first thing. And if that first thing is an inspirational quote that motivates them, they're more likely to open that email, right? Same thing for social media. People freaking love quotes. If you have inspirational quotes and you post them, they're gonna love it. They love humor. We do social media for our pediatric practices, and people love mommy jokes. You know, and you wouldn't think it, but they love it. Like, if you talk crap about their kids, they're gonna love it, right? So it's like, you just have to think about, what do people really like personally, not specifically as a business. You know, just like Olana said, that business has a lot of success just by being funny. That's what you guys should want to do. You should be funny, you should be warm, genuine. You want to, of course, provide valuable information as well, but just feel free to also be quirky and be creative and be yourself, right? So that's pretty much, I'm not sure how long I took, but I think probably
You're perfect.
speak, so thank you guys.
All right, I'm Kelly McAtee with Things To Do Ocala. I started Things To Do Ocala about 3 years ago. It is a social media marketing company, mainly through Facebook and Instagram, where all we do is promote events in Marion County, all in one place in an organized list. And the reason I started it was because there really wasn't anywhere else that were doing it. And I, at the time, had a few different social media groups that I was in, and I started going to community events and networking with people, trying to get myself, put a face to the name of a business that I was starting. And when I did that, I found that there were a lot of organizations, nonprofits, that really needed help in expanding their events, and where could they post them at. And so Things To Do Ocala became that avenue for not just the businesses, but for the for the customer or the community to go and find this as well. So kind of what I'm going to talk about today is posting relevant content and collaboration. So relevant content is based on what you do. You always want to post things that are going to help you grow and people that are going to engage. If they're following your page, then they're following it because they want to see what you're doing. So for instance, with Things To Do Ocala, and I'll talk about an example here with the current situation we're in with the pandemic. Things To Do Ocala 2 months ago stopped having events to share. There wasn't, they were gone. So when that happened, I said, well, what am I gonna do? How am I still going to be a resource for the community to provide them with information and still be relevant to Things To Do Ocala? And what happened was, webinars started happening, Zoom started happening, restaurants went curbside, but they stayed open, but people didn't know what stayed open and what closed. And then there was information from the health department. So I began sharing that information out to keep it relevant of what I did, which was I'm Things To Do Ocala, so I stayed relevant to Ocala. I stayed relevant to the businesses in Ocala and tried to help people with information. So in a way, I kind of became a news media outlet, kind of what Jeremiah does with Ocala-News, for a short period of time until the webinars picked up, and then we started picking things back up as we went into phase 2. So with that, getting back to posting relevant content, it's what brings the people to your page. And it's really important, and like Olana said, you can post unique things. You can post, if you know you're in real estate, you can go post a picture with someone with the house. It doesn't just have to be posts of houses you're selling. So, I mean, there are unique ways to really get people more engaged. The other thing that I'm going to talk about is collaboration. And what I found throughout my networking and building Things To Do Ocala, because we went from 0 one day to I posted an event that nobody else shared, and it hit 25,000 people on Facebook in a matter of hours. And that is when I realized, well, I filled the gap in the community that was missing. And collaboration was, I worked with the business on how can I share your event? How can I help you? How can I get it out to the people? So there's a collaboration piece of collaborating with the community and providing them with a service that they've been looking for. And the proof in the pudding that they've been looking for, to show that they were looking for, was the amount of followers I got within weeks of starting the page. Organically, not paid. And then the businesses. You really get to work with each business. Whoever is promoting that event, you reach out to them. You tag them on Facebook. And when you tag them, they see it. So now they know about Things To Do Ocala, or they know about your business because you tagged them. That is collaboration. And I've been doing a lot with that, and you can do a lot with that as we're going through this as well, and we're picking things back up in the community with getting back out in events and doing networking. It's about the awareness. So, and then that kind of mixes in with, it builds revenue and builds brand awareness as well. So when you post relevant content with your brand, and you post and you collaborate with others, it not only builds your brand, it builds their brand, and they'll be willing to build yours as well. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is organic reach, because I have been able to do that with Things To Do Ocala because of posting relevant content and collaborating. But there's also another key piece to it. So there are many Facebook pages out there, groups out there, with 50,000 followers, 50,000 people in this group, 30,000 people in this group, and they allow you to share your content. So you can create content on your page, post it there, and then to get more organic reach off of it, you can post it to a group you've started for your page. You can post it to Ocala word of mouth. You can post it to different groups and create more engagement and more awareness and grow your brand by doing so. So I have always found that I may post something on Things To Do Ocala, and while I may have 17,000 followers on the page, and I may have the 40,000 people viewing it a month, what makes the 40,000 views a month happen is not just promoting it on my page. I collaborate and I tag and I push it out to different places in Ocala, because like Jeremiah said earlier, we're all working together. We're here for you. We are sharing everything because we want to help the community grow, and we want to help other businesses, and we just want Ocala to be bigger and better and the best. So I think really that's it. I don't really have much more than that. Do we have questions on this?
Definitely. My question is for Mr. Jeremiah. Thank you so much for all of the excellent things you spoke about. There's a lot that I'm gonna. Sorry.
I think they were way there.
Yeah. No, man, you hit on some really interesting things that I would like to know more. You talked about the social media managers.
Yeah.
Did you kind of graduate from certain ones, finding that this one didn't have this you needed? Where's a great place for somebody like myself to start?
No, yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, because we did actually try like 6 different ones, and it was really dependent on what your need was. And like Sonda touched on, Facebook is king, right, for us too. And that's really dependent on your brand. Some people Instagram is king, some people Twitter is king. Twitter should be king, for instance, not. But we found that, I think it was Hootsuite or Buffer, one of the two, was just really incompatible with Instagram. And we wouldn't have known that had we not just tried the free trial. All of them have free trials for like a month. I would say to start, I would go with Hootsuite, Buffer, and Later, because those are the biggest 3. But like Sonda said, I mean, Content Studio IO is really good. There are so many out there, and they all offer these free trials that just, hey, man, I mean, there's no harm in trying that and seeing if it works for you, because it's really dependent on where you are. If your focus is on Facebook, most of them are really good about that. But when it comes to Instagram and Twitter, there's some finicky things about that, and it's just trial and error. I mean, we weren't committed to any of them. We made a mistake and spent like $300 with Hootsuite that we didn't have to. So then we just started using them more often, and that made that relationship a lot better. But we still use Buffer for most of our content too. So I mean, it's a combination depending on your business.
Understood, thank you very much.
Yeah, I have a question. So say you're gonna post like 3 times a day. Do you post the same thing 3 times a day, or you have to post separate stuff? Because does that make sense? So, yeah, I don't know, different things,
Yes, you definitely want to have a variety of content on there.
even if it's the same
Because
day.
if you
Yeah.
post the same photo 3 times a day, Facebook, if we're talking about Facebook in general, they're gonna see your reach. I mean, they will lower it. If you're posting the same thing over and over again, you won't get as much reach on it as you did the first time, because they know that you're repeating that post. So you can run into problems with that too, with over posting the same content. They'll delete it, or they'll take it
the
off.
algorithm will like squash it down. So
Yes.
the reason why we say to post a lot is because of the algorithm, different people using Facebook at different times of the day, but you don't wanna post the same thing multiple times a day, because of what Kelly said, but also, the users that are engaging with you at 10 o'clock in the morning and the users that are engaging with you at 6 o'clock at night don't wanna see the same thing. You know what I mean? The 10 a.m. users might wanna see the picture, the 6 p.m. users might wanna see the video. So,
We test that all the time with our product. Like, we have 20 posts a day, so sometimes we would do pictures in the morning, sometimes we do them in the afternoon, sometimes we do them in the evening, and we always just, like, that's the only way to find out when it works, right? Just test it, and then evaluate, and then just change it up the next time. So for us, with 20 posts a day, we can switch it up and see, and we've repeated posts a day, but like, it was something that we thought was, maybe it was a story that we had a second rendition of, we had an update to, but even like the largest pages, most of them just update that original post, because that's sufficient. And like they said, if you keep on posting the same thing, I mean, just look at the engagement that you'll get. Like, you'll get lower reach, and Facebook will do that, but then also users are just like, I saw this already, so why would I, and then they get disenfranchised. As a user, just think about how you would be, right? Wouldn't you be like, I don't want to see this again?
Well, I just think a lot of times I don't even get to everything on my feed.
Yeah, no,
you know,
absolutely.
So it's just like,
yeah, no, it's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Anyone else?
You can, however, post the same thing on like your page, your business page,
Yes,
and then
across the
your
different
group,
profiles, yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
other groups. Like, for example, I'm a part of at least 10 groups, and I'll post the same thing in all of the groups, and I get a lot of engagement that way. So that's one way that you can recycle the material.
Yeah, she's right. Your page is just your page, but there's so many other places where that content's never gonna touch, so just take it and go out other places. Any place that will allow you to do it, honestly.
Right.
Yeah, you should take advantage of it.
And one thing also, I'm so sorry, one
Okay.
second. When you post in groups, it actually notifies the members of that group. So for example, when you're posting on your page, some people may see it, some people may not see it.
Right.
And usually, no matter what your audience is, only a small percentage is actually seeing your
Yes.
posts over and over again, you know, and that is a part of the algorithm. They try to show it to people that they think you're cool with the most, right? But whenever you post in a group, it's gonna notify every single member in that group that Aaron posted, and they're gonna get a notification, and they're more likely to go and see it.
I've been doing Facebook for some years. I did not know that. 'Cause I learned so much from these people. I'm gonna go make a personal profile.
While we don't recommend posting the same content 3 times a day, you can post the same content the next week or something like that. I mean, you put a gap in there, and like I do, for instance, if there's Trivia Tuesdays happening, I'm gonna post the same flyer every Tuesday, but there's enough of a gap in there that you can post the same content and it's not really going to affect it that much, as long as you're posting other things in between that time. And the same with the groups. If instead of posting it 3 times a day, you post it one time and you share it to this group, you share it to that group, you share it to other relevant groups. So,
One thing that I wanted to mention that I didn't during my first talk was, if you guys want to write down Videolicious, it's an app that you can get, and it is a really easy phone editing software. I went to school to learn how to edit things, like my college degree is in that. But for people who are just wanting to start to incorporate some more just different content to their page, maybe Videolicious isn't the answer for you, but it's a good place to start to learn how to do it. And it's how you can just take video on your cell phone. You can type in your script, a teleprompter will roll on the side. You can put your B-roll over it. It's really easy. And then another good thing to do is post that video, and then 3 days later post all your bloopers from trying to film the video. Yeah.
Well, there'll be plenty of them.
And going live, as far as videos, going live is huge because you also get a notification. It's going to say, you know, Sonda is live, and people are more likely to see it.
And now you can schedule going live, so you can tell people, hey, we're gonna go live in 3 days, and you can preface that. So it's, I mean, there's so much you can do now with streaming. We don't take enough advantage of video, and there's so much out there. Whenever we do a video, it always does well. It just always does well, because video content, especially on Facebook, you wanna make videos that can be played without sound, really. Like when somebody's seeing that first image, that first 3 seconds, you want them to be captured in. Put captions on your videos, you know, make them square form so that they're mobile friendly when they're rolling, you know. Just like with the tasty videos that you see when they're like showing you food, that captures you in the first 5 seconds, doesn't it? And it only takes a minute to play too, so.
You can also prompt people to turn on notifications for your page, or even click to see your post first. Because when I was a news reporter, I needed to see the sheriff's office, the police department, all of those. So you can go to their profile and click see first. So even still now, I see the CEP, sheriff's office, fire rescue. That's all showing up before anything else. So you can tell people, hey, turn on post notifications, or make sure that you have us that we show up at the top of your feed. You can literally just tell them to do it instead of just crossing your fingers that your stuff will come across their feed.
You guys I'm taking so many tips from these guys. I'm doing like 3 to 4 of these things immediately after I leave.
So I forgot a very cool feature also on Facebook. I don't know if you guys are familiar with community and asking people to invite their friends to like your page, but that is a huge way to grow.
We got like 500 likes just by having all of the CEP employees inviting their friends to like our page. Like,
so do you guys know how to get there? Okay, if you go to a business page, now if it's your own business page, it's gonna actually say invite friends. But if you're telling your friend, you're gonna tell them, okay, find my page, go to community, like at the top it's gonna have like about, posts, videos, and then community. If they click on that, then it's gonna allow them to invite their friends to like your page. And then it's just one click, they hit all, it selects all of them, and then it just boosts your audience so quickly.
And
You just invite to like?
yes,
Sorry.
I was going to say invite to
It's like,
like.
it's Sarah's alert, that's better, but this is
Yeah.
good.
Okay, so now Facebook also has where if you have a business page and you're posting content and people are liking it and they're sharing it and you're getting more likes on that post, you can click to see who liked your post. And when you click to see who likes it, if they don't like your page, but they like your post, there's a little button next to their name that says invite to page. And then they can like and it's just more ways to get people in, and it sends them an invitation
It's
from
free
your
too.
page.
It's
and
free up until 100,000 likes, and you can do like almost 500 likes a day. We've tested these limits because we've had posts that reach thousands of people, and you just go through until Facebook tells you you can't invite more people.
And
So,
they will
yeah.
tell you to
We
stop.
we got up to 50,000 now, and we're still able to do that, so it's definitely 100,000. We've heard that before in the industry.
So I just can't emphasize, I mean, my background is in video, but the less barriers that you have between the viewer and the content that you want them to see, the better.
Yes.
So obviously if you're linking to a whole news story, like when I was a news reporter, we couldn't post our news story on Facebook because you want to drive people to your website. However, for other businesses, don't put a blog post and then put a link to the blog post on Facebook and say, click here to see this, because then it's gonna take them away from Facebook and they're not done on Facebook for the day, you know? So maybe if you can take what you put in your blog post in a little selfie video and put it on there with captions, you're just decreasing the barrier for interaction, and then you're just gonna get so many more people that want to, you know, be in touch with them.
Engage with the user where the user is. Don't make them come to you. You know, they'll come to you eventually, but engage with them where they are. That's why you have to go everywhere. And it sucks, but you have to. It's a long trip, I guess.
And if you are on LinkedIn and you write, you can also, there's LinkedIn articles or something, and you can actually write right there, and then that's a great way to get it out there also, because people can see that even if they're not connected with you.
I'm glad you spoke to the importance of LinkedIn, because I don't think a lot of us take advantage of it at all. It's one of those like, I get another invite from LinkedIn, I'm not looking at this.
So, and I post more graphics, so you do more video editing, or the event's coming up, and I make headers of things to do on Monday. So there's an awesome free app on your phone, and it's called Over. And it's basically kind of like Photoshop. You can create layers of pictures on top or logos on top of other layers, and it's a really neat program, app, and it's free. There's no watermark, there's no nothing on it. So, and it's great, and it saves your file how you want it, and it saves it in high quality. So I really utilize that app a lot.
Yeah,
with my
Over
phone
and
to create
Canva.
content.
Yeah,
Over
Canva.
and Canva.
Infographics in general are very important, and I don't think any of us spend as much time as we should on them because they're very time consuming to do, but they go a long way. And especially for us, like in the news world, an infographic can be a piece of news itself. Like we can make a whole article just on an infographic. So
You should use Vengage, VENNGAGE. It's specifically for infographics, makes it super easy.
jeez, I have so much
Are you
homework.
writing this down?
No, I'm not. It's great. I'm gonna give myself a like.
Yeah.
I do have just one more question. Any strategies or thought processes on your business page getting reviews? I'm finding, I have not put boots to ground very, very much yet, as I'm still new to this role. But I'm just curious, is that something I need to be focusing on? What's the strategy to get them once the service is completed to drop that review?
Ask.
Ask.
In every solicitation you send, I mean, you should be getting all their email information, you should be getting their contact information and your follow-up. I mean, with all of our customers, literally, like, when they sign up for our subscription email, they get that first welcome email, then they get an email like a week later saying, how are you liking this? Then 2 weeks later, they get another email. Then 6 months later, they get an email like, hey, we're reminding you in 6 months, and then every month after that, they get another email. And so it's really just about keeping that constant line of communication, because at that point, the review is gonna take care of itself if I need them to review it. We don't offer that because they review us in our comment section every single day, very vitriolically anyway, but they still read it. And so I have plenty of friends who have businesses where they actually do the kind of reviews. You do a good job, you follow up with them, especially when it's something like, my friend uses Square and all of those like terminals. They have it in where they will email you right after that, and you can include the verbiage to rate yourself and review yourself. So absolutely, and Facebook has that. All of them have it. I actually don't know if Instagram and Twitter do. I don't know why they would. Facebook
Yeah,
definitely
but
has
then
it.
also whenever you get a review, turn it into a little infographic and you
Yes,
can post out of it
100%,
too.
100%.
Yeah.
Also, don't underestimate Google reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
oh,
sure,
yeah,
for sure.
But I would also say those are the most important ones. I was like, those are the ones I heard.
Okay, what's the easiest way to push someone to a Google review?
So there are ways where usually, really, you just need a system, because the person that's going to stop you from getting reviews is you, because you're going to forget, because you're so busy doing everything.
Yeah, but like if I was to leave a review for someone, I don't even know where to go. Like I ended up going to Google Maps, typing in the
Yeah,
business,
exactly.
So
and
you
left
wanna
a
make it-
review right there. So
Sure.
where do we go as a consumer to leave a Google review?
So as a consumer, you want to look up that business, and then their Google profile will come up, and then you're going to see a thing that says reviews, and then you can go there and you can post it.
So basically your Google business page?
Yes.
Yeah, basically. Once you Google a business, any business, if it's local, it'll almost always give you that local business. It'll show you the the reviews there. Then you can expand those. And honestly, that is, for most consumers between 18 and 35, that is a decision-making element. Like that, I remember living at an apartment complex, and my review of that apartment complex, which was not favorable, had 1,000 reads. So, I was very upset with them, because they stole $100 from me. But the point was, I was like, I know in those 1,000 reads,
Still better.
Yeah.
I know in those 1,000 reads, they definitely lost $100 worth of business, and that made me feel great. I took that review over. I would never do
But
that.
if you can take that link, that leave a review link
Yep.
as a business and post it out and encourage people, click here to leave our review or send it in an email or whatever. If you want Google reviews or
Yes.
if you want Facebook reviews, take the link and send it to people and say, hey, do this for me.
My dentist, every single time I go to the dentist, I get back from the dentist's office, I get an email that says, how is your, rate us on Google, rate us on Facebook, rate us, and so it's just automated. It's just one of the, like someone was saying, it's part of your system. You get that system in place, and then it takes care of itself from then on, so.
You want to make it as simple as possible.
Yes.
You always want to send those links.
And what if you get a bad review?
That's
So
okay.
if you get a bad review,
Part of it, that's
then
part of the process, man.
Yeah.
If you bad reviews are part of doing business, so all the good ones should take care of it. I have friends that are in the restaurant business, they always get bad reviews, and I get texts all the time, and I'm like, dude, what are you gonna do about it? Just get more reviews, and that's all they can do. Just get more to balance that one out.
So also, there are tools, reputation management tools, that will actually put a hold on a negative review for like a week,
That's great.
that will allow you to reach out to that person individually and say, hey, how can I make this better so that you don't close this review? So that's also a cool
Do you know any of
That's
those
awesome.
by name? I do
yes.
Google for sure, but.
Thrive,
Thrive.
Thry.
That's
Do they work on TripAdvisor?
Oh, geez.
They actually, it's a very cool platform because they will put your business on like 60 different online business directories. And then from just that one profile, you're gonna be updating everything. So like, for example, if your URL changed or your phone number changed, you don't wanna go through, you know, Yelp and Bing and Google and Facebook and everywhere changing that. You can actually do it from just that one place. And then they also do social media. So that's another social media manager. And you can definitely try that. I think it's like $300 a month, but it's worth it.
And if you get a bad review and you want to address it, you can make a video. Be nice whenever you're addressing negative reviews, because that can make you look even worse if you do it negatively. But obviously, because of my background, I just think that really videos are a good answer to a lot of problems. But I'll stop talking about it, and if you have any more questions, you can just grab me after.
You know, I would say never run away from a bad review.
No.
That is your best
Embrace it.
opportunity for
Embrace
the
it.
business itself. Because now you can go back to that customer or potential customer and find out what was actually wrong. And most times you're gonna find out that it's something so minuscule that you're gonna solve for them that you have made a customer for life.
Yes.
So don't
Yeah.
run. Bad reviews are great. That is your opportunity to assess, what did I do wrong and how can I make it better?
Yeah, 99% of our motivation in our company comes from bad reviews.
Yeah,
Sort of
definitely.
like people telling us what we're doing
Embrace
wrong,
bad
and-
reviews. They are gold to your
Yeah.
business.
But
They
you also
really
wanna
are.
ask them to then remove the review if possible.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
And
and also
you will.
engage with them on that review. I see that all the time. Like, get ahead of it. Don't just, and if you do engage, make it very professional and make it very much like you want to make it right. Because if they reveal themselves to be a fool, then you win. That's it. Then they're like, then everybody that reads that review will say, oh, this person's crazy anyway. And I saw that for the Ocala Drive. And I'm very
We had the yes.
Everybody saw that one. Yeah.
Yep.
The Ocala Drive one was pretty spicy, and that guy got that woman to shut up. So.
Everybody saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go check it
Yeah.
out. It was very insulting, but he got his point across. And as a business owner, you're entitled to say whatever you want. I'd say just keep it a little bit more professional if you're going to shut down a review. Let your product speak for itself. And for us, 99% of the time, we have other people that speak for us to defend us, that are saying your expectations are wrong, or you're just crazy. You know, one of those.
Unless you're Wendy's, they're super snappy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flames everywhere. Flame
And
kill.
honestly, like, if there's any more questions, we can keep talking about it, but also for social media purposes,
Yeah, we should stop this
a
video.
Facebook Live that's
Yeah.
over an hour long is probably not gonna do very
Yeah.
well. So,
Well, everybody, yeah.
Thank you guys.
Well, I'll post contact information in the Facebook Live video, and I'm
Okay.
sure on all the feeds we can
Yeah,
share
I
that
can too.
for all the speakers that spoke today, so that you guys can reach out to us with any questions, email, and thanks. Yeah.
Yay!